NaNoWriMo is promoting AI and is sponsored by AI tech companies. Let's talk about it. Yes, it's difficult to write 50,000 words in a month. That's the point! For context, sources for this discussion will be in the description below, and I am planning on making a Substack post regarding this once I compile my script into more of a written article rather than a video essay script. So if you are looking forward to that, please keep an eye out for the Substack post. Now let's start off with what is NaNoWriMo. If you already know what NaNoWriMo is, there should be time cards in both the video description and the ability to click on the link, so you should be able to skip ahead if you already know what NaNoWriMo is. NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. It started in 1999 as a challenge for creatives to write 50,000 words, aka the standard length of a novel, within a singular month, in this case the month of November. NaNoWriMo is also a non-profit organization. According to their statement, NaNoWriMo is a 501c3 nonprofit that believes in the transformational power of creativity. We provide the structure, community, and encouragement to help people use their voices, achieve creative goals, and build new words on and off the page. For full transparency, I attempted to participate in NaNoWriMo multiple years. I participated in the NaNoWriMo camps, which is a smaller, more springtime organization tool for creatives to do shorter writing prompts, but I have never successfully completed anything. I haven't done it during the month of NaNoWriMo. I have written things. I am currently working on editing a novella and hope to publish it sooner rather than later. This is also the 25th anniversary of NaNoWriMo being in existence. It is the 25th anniversary from that 1999 original organization and movement. And NaNoWriMo, as a nonprofit, usually has sponsors. As they are a nonprofit, it's instrumental to the growth and continued survival of the business to have sponsorships. That is a completely normal and natural thing for a nonprofit to have. However, usually these sponsors are helpful tools to encourage the creative process and encourage those, when they do finish their novel, to continue moving forward with the process with it, whether that is getting a finished manuscript, going into another draft. Things like that are typically what the NaNoWriMo sponsorships are for. However, this year, there are a few interesting sponsors. I'm going to go through the full list of sponsors and I'll describe each one in the context of what it is. And the one that is the most outrageous as a creative and a writer and an author is the final one I will be covering. Also, for context, I'm more of a reader. I sometimes read words out loud and am not pronouncing them correctly, and these are honestly some weird tech company names for a couple of these, so if I am saying these names wrong, you're sponsoring NaNoWriMo and they're pro AI, so you know, maybe you deserve to have your name said incorrectly until you get good. Starting up is Scrivener. Scrivener is a writing aid and a way to write your story. It's a useful tool to include references, photos, articles, your outline, all while still writing your novel. While I have not personally used it, I know people who have, and it was a multi-year sponsor for Nano. So it is extremely useful in the terms of organization, and that is how a lot of people love to use this writing software. However, Scrivener is now able to function with AI, specifically with software like Pro Writing Aid, another one of the sponsors, making myself and others completely unwilling to use it. So one of the big perks of NaNoWriMo and having an account on the NaNoWriMo website is you can get these sponsors, equipment, tools, services at a discount or completely free. In this case, NaNoWriMo and Scrivener are fully sponsored, so you can get this software for free if you have a NaNoWriMo account. However, due to that AI scraping, I would highly recommend against it. Next up is Dabble. So Dabble is another writing software similar to Scrivener, but it is a more simplified and focused writing aid. So it does not currently boast any AI usage. However, according to certain sources, it does appear that they are heading in that direction. Dabble is, again, not one I have personally used, but simply looking at the tool itself seems very simplified. It doesn't have a lot of the features that, say, a Microsoft Word would have for image editing and things like that. However, to keep you focused and keep you engaged in your writing process, tools like this that are very simple are extremely helpful. It's the reason things like the FreeWrite digital typewriter are popular, and the reason why manual typewriters or writing in journals works very well for some people. It keeps you focused, it keeps you free of additional distractions, and that is the purpose of tools like this. Next up, we have NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is a sponsor that is shifting in a different direction. This would be more for when you finish your novel at the end of National Novel Writing Month and go, what do I do from here? Where do I go with this novel? I've written 50,000 words or more, but I don't know what to do with it or where I go to publish it. NaNoWriMo is a service meant to help authors with editing and receiving feedback regarding their writing. However, they have started to implement AI tools within their services. So it is not just the regular consultation or the editing, it is now AI. Next up is another writing tool similar to Dabble and Scrivener. This is Storyist software. Storyist is another writing software people use to organize and edit their works. It is more similar to a Scrivener, where it has further assistance things for doing sticky notes and outlines and things like that for your manuscript. While I cannot find confirmation within the Storyist website myself during my research process, according to the VentureBeat article, it is software that is integrated with AI. Now we get to the smoking gun of this entire situation and what I believe caused this entire controversy with NaNoWriMo and AI, and what made people realize that NaNoWriMo might be pro-AI. Pro Writing Aid is the final sponsor we will be covering for the 2024 NaNoWriMo year. Pro Writing Aid is an AI service that has scraped the internet and not only provides grammar assistance, but can literally write your story for you. You don't want to write 50,000 words in a month for the entire purpose of this challenge. You want a service that will write it for you. Now, this tool is one of many that has scraped the internet to steal copyrighted works and use it to train their AI models. Pro Writing Aid proudly boasts on their site that users can use their Sparks Continue feature to craft new dialogue and engaging analogies to power your story, aka it's writing your story for you. That's what this is. It is writing your story for you, taking away the creative process and all the effort that goes into being a writer. This entire thing is just blatant theft from other creatives and other people. That is what Pro Writing Aid is. If you believe that AI is a good thing or something that should be used, if you think it is good for any creative, you are incorrect. And let's get into why. Now, starting in the reasons behind this entire video is NaNoWriMo made a statement because people were asking if they were pro-AI or anti-AI. So NaNoWriMo's official statement, well, they state that they do not explicitly support or condemn AI. They are having sponsors that are AI, and later in this statement they say this: we also want to be clear in our belief that the categorical condemnation of artificial intelligence has classist and ableist undertones, and that questions around the use of AI tie to questions around privilege. NaNoWriMo, I want to like what you do. I cannot support you when you say stuff like this. The argument that being against AI is classist and ableist could not be farther from the truth and is hilarious within context. There are so many poor and disabled writers who write and in the past have written some of our most well-known literature. Two examples of authors who came from poorer backgrounds are Herman Melville, aka the author of Moby Dick, and Charles Dickens. To claim that being anti-AI is ableist and classist is ridiculous. The entire writing process is something that is so innately human. It is something we have done. We are storytellers as creatures. Something that separates us is our ability to pass along stories. Think about the Homeric hymns. Those were passed down from generation to generation verbally because we are storytellers. And that was created from humans who told a story that developed into another story. This is how writing works. It is a fundamental principle of it. You cannot just go and use AI to skirt around this process and think people are going to be okay with that. If you are a writer who struggles financially to be able to take the time to write, there are opportunities out there to give you a little bit more time and a little bit more support. I would highly recommend looking into grants and scholarships and sponsorships for your writing. There is a website, fundsforwriters.com, that has a grants page that you can utilize to try and find grants that might give you a little bit of extra funding to take, say, a week off of work to go and work on your writing. And if you'd like to help out disabled writers who can write, they're good writers. There are so many good writers who happen to be disabled or happen to be from a poorer background or happen to be from a marginalized community who just are not given the resources or time or the opportunities of other people. This is not an inability to write, it's an inability to access the resources for things like publishing. If you'd like to help out some disabled writers, I'd recommend researching the Inevitable Foundation. They are a nonprofit geared towards job placement for disabled writers. Their mission is to invest in disabled writers and filmmakers so they can achieve artistic and financial freedom and use film and television to destigmatize disability and mental health globally. That is an excellent mission, and I highly recommend researching this group a little bit more. I have not done a full in-depth research on this, but I do recommend looking into it. AI being encouraged for NaNoWriMo defeats the entire purpose of NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is meant to be a creative challenge. Yes, it's difficult to write 50,000 words in a month. That's the point. Writing might be beneficial to cognitive skills, is a quote from Dr. Cecil Smith in their article, The Benefits of Writing. It's a fairly short article that I honestly highly recommend reading. The challenge of NaNoWriMo was to get people into the habit of writing daily. If you sustain a habit for 7 or more days, it usually integrates into your daily routine and your daily life. Of course, there are certain people where this does not work, but that is the reason that a habit is formed. It is repetitive behavior used to propel yourself into creating a habit. The challenge of NaNoWriMo is getting yourself to write daily. Even if you don't complete that 50,000 word count, if you get into the habit of writing daily, you can complete that amount later on, or you can get into the habit of writing, and then you could publish short stories or novellas or poetry or something because you're writing. Even if authors don't complete their novel within the month of November for NaNoWriMo, it can get them into the habit that will allow them to complete this novel in the future. It sets up a person for success and allowed people to use their brain in new and creative ways. When you're writing, you're able to create new ideas and put them out into the world. You're able to generate thoughts and express them on a page through language. By simplifying this process and removing the innately human experience of being a creative, you're stealing the works of others using AI through all this, NaNoWriMo has lost sight of what made NaNoWriMo worthwhile. Now here's a little call to action for you guys. In this video, I want to encourage you to not support NaNoWriMo as a company, as a nonprofit organization. I want you to write this November and do it on your own without using any of the NaNoWriMo software, sponsors, or tools, including their website, their word count, their forums. Do not use anything on their website. In fact, if you have an account, I would recommend deleting it. I haven't yet, but I am honestly tempted to do so. I would ask you to work with me to prove to people we can write possibly even novels without AI or without the need for any of this. Right now I'm back in college and may not complete the 50,000 words, but in the month of November, I want to work on a draft of a story I've contemplated writing for years. If it ends up being a novella or shorter than a novel, fantastic. But that's what I want to do this November, outside of doing things for school. And I believe in you to write something too, even if it's just a short story, even if it's a one-shot of a fan fiction. Write with me this November. Now you might be wondering, but what about NaNoWriMo? What about the month? This site had other resources and things that I used, like a word count tracker and forums to discuss with other writers. Well, there are some other alternatives you can have for this. For word count trackers, there are apps, there are things you can write. You can keep a spreadsheet that you have printed off. You can keep a journal where each day you write down your word count. On Tumblr, there is a user, Jay's World, who shared a post featuring photos of a spreadsheet that they use to track their word count. This type of spreadsheet can work pretty well to keep track of your word count and help you visualize everything. Doing something as simple as that can replace the NaNoWriMo word count entirely. And if you're looking for something to replace those community forums that NaNoWriMo had and encouraged, I first of all recommend finding local writing groups in your area. Engage with a group in your local community, like a writer's Discord or a meetup at a local bookstore. Things like that exist in a lot of areas, and I highly recommend reaching out and finding those. Otherwise, join internet groups like Discord servers or Facebook groups. These will allow you to experience that connection that those forums had on NaNoWriMo's website. Also, post about your progress online. Share posts on Instagram, share posts on TikTok, post about it on Tumblr, post about it on Reddit. We can create a community through this engagement with each other online and showcase, hey, we don't need this AI, we don't need NaNoWriMo as a nonprofit organization to be able to write. I want to be a fan of NaNoWriMo, I really do. I loved it since I first found out about it when I was a junior in high school, and it helped me get excited to write again. I cannot support it when it has these sponsors and it has this type of stance on AI. And you know what? I made this entire script without the use of any AI or writing tools or things like that. NaNoWriMo and the organizers behind it, if you do not change your ways, I cannot support you ever again. And I will forever condemn this nonprofit I once loved if this type of behavior does not change. Well, that was a lot. I hope you all have a good day, and I'll catch you later. Bye, buddy. Buddy, buddy. Buddy, buddy, buddy. My little kid. My little cat dog. What are your thoughts about AI and NaNoWriMo? Tell me what you think in the comments below, or shoot me a message on something like Tumblr. Together, if we all boycott NaNoWriMo, they might change their stance and they might actually work for the artists that make their nonprofit a possibility and allow their nonprofit to exist. Have a good one.